Oh, howdy, all. Grab yourself a beer. It's time for some Path of Exile discussion. I've been doing a series where I've been looking at popular, powerful endgame unique items, and I wanted to return to that with March of the Legion, which is one of those items that has gotten better every single expansion for the last year or so of Path of Exile. So this was introduced to not all that much fanfare a little bit over a year ago, and it's a set of boots that have a couple of important stats on them. So +2 to the level of socketed aura gems is implying you probably want to be socketing auras in here. And then it has this cryptic: socketed gems are supported by level 25 blessing. The rest of the stats are pretty stock standard. It's got some armor and energy shield, quite a reasonable amount of both. Then some resistances and some movement speed. The movement speed, importantly, is divinable in a wide range from 20 to 30%, and the item is obviously much better if it's got a roll closer to 30% than the one that dropped for me here. However, the reason you're using this is because of that socketed gems are supported by level 25 blessing. Blessing transforms a permanent aura into a temporary buff. So I think the easiest way to showcase this is just simply to fire it off. I am going to activate Anger. Pay attention to my mana bar while I do this. Notice that for 330 milliseconds, the vast majority of my mana bar is reserved. And in fact, let's do that without Herald of Ice on so you can see the exact amount. Most of my mana bar is reserved for a second, and then there is this icon that appears. Anger Aura grants additional fire damage. You can then also, I've got 4 auras in there. There's Anger, there's Wrath, there's Grace, and there's Determination. So this item is allowing me to permanently run Anger, Wrath, Determination, and Grace on the same character. But additionally, these are not permanent auras anymore, and that means there is absolutely phenomenal synergy with Supreme Ego. Supreme Ego means that you can only have 1 permanent aura on you from your skills. But these aren't now permanent auras. I can have all 4 of them up all the time, benefit from all of them. Auras from your skills don't benefit allies. That's unfortunate, but I'm playing solo. Auras from your skills have 50% more effect on you, which is tremendous, and 50% more reservation of skills, which is a painful drawback. However, it's not quite as bad as that might sound, because the 3.16 changes to mana reservation actually tremendously benefit a character like this, because if you don't have massive investment in reduced reservation, these changes are a big buff to the way that mana reservation works. So what was it that changed in 3.16 that made this item so much better? Well, firstly, the changes to the passive tree led to there being more support for increasing duration. So now we have the skill duration exceptional performance cluster, which can have duration mastery for 10% more skill effect duration. And we also have skill duration and potency of will up here. This is more than has existed in the past, and as a result, this has improved characters that are built around this interaction. Additionally, the biggest change of all was what happened to Grace and Determination. So Grace, and here you'll see this is only a 16 gem. It used to provide only the flat evasion. So Grace used to be 1732 additional evasion rating, or something similar to that. The numbers might have changed a little bit at this gem level. Now, it also has you and nearby allies gain 27% more evasion rating. So, why is this so good in March of the Legion? Well, with March of the Legion, you can run it almost all the time, and do so at a low opportunity cost, while you are benefiting from Supreme Ego. And so Supreme Ego and various other sources of increased aura effect will then scale that number to the moon. So if we have a quick look at the gem as it stands here with the +2 levels from the item, it says 2,115 additional evasion rating, 28% more evasion rating. If we actually hover over here, you'll see that, if we actually activate the gem, then you will see that the amount that it boosts my character is far more than that. So we're sitting at 25,835 with Grace turned on, and 1,230 with Grace turned off. That's a pretty substantial thing. Again, let's have a look at armor. This is Determination, and Determination's a really low-level gem. I've only just put it on the character. 1472 with Determination turned off. We turn it on, 10,515 armor. So just those 2 auras alone are providing a tremendous defensive layer to a character like this. But that's not all you're getting. You're also getting Wrath, which is going to give you increased damage, so 13 to 215 lightning damage to attacks on my character. A spell damage build would gain different benefits instead. And also we are getting Anger for 94 to 135 additional fire damage to attacks. So all of this is coming for the cost of your boots and for the cost of just messing around a little bit with your permanent reservations so that you can simultaneously run Supreme Ego, as you see here, and also, as well as Supreme Ego, run perhaps a Herald or a permanent reservation like Precision. So Precision is something that if I had more mana or more reduced cost of reservation on the character, then at that point I could potentially turn Precision on as well. Precision would then be my one permanent aura. So you'd have one permanent aura. Herald of Ice is not an aura, so it could be left on. And in addition to that, you could then have Herald of Thunder as well if you wanted, and also get all of the benefits of March of the Legion. Although I don't have the mana to support that at the moment. So that's March of the Legion. I want to show some gameplay footage of it quickly. This will be sped up by 3 times, so it will be much faster than it actually is. And that should give a bit of a sense as to how it feels in practice. But one thing that needs to be said is that it is a clunky playstyle. So while you're moving, you can't actually smoothly cast these auras. They're not instant, so you can't just cast them while you're moving like you can Blood Rage. So here's Blood Rage. I'm casting Blood Rage, and you'll see that I'm able to keep moving. It doesn't interrupt my movement at all. That is not the case with casting these auras. You need to come to a full stop and then cast them, so they are clunky and awkward. And that's why I think a lot of players don't use this item, even though they know how powerful it is. Additionally, you need a lot of keybinds dedicated to it. You see here that I've got Control Q, Control W, Control E, and Control R tied up with with my Blessing auras. That's pretty common to use something along those sorts of lines. Other players may use a different system, but that's the way that I've chosen to do it. And so as a result, I'm basically out of keybinds on this character with very, very little actually done there. All I've really got is a movement skill, my primary attack, Blood Rage, a Golem that I'm still using for some reason, a Decoy Totem for bossing, and a Herald. And I'm pretty much out of all of my keybinds as a result of that. But March of the Legion, while it's clunky, it's really powerful. So let's talk about how you get the item while I show some gameplay footage in the background. So this item is a Tier 2 rarity drop anywhere unique. At least during 3.14 it was confirmed to be Tier 2, and this puts it at the same rarity as Mjolnir, as Chevron's Wrappings, and as the Brass Dome, amongst other less popular uniques that people use less, like Auxium. So it is an item that is pretty tricky to find. There's no fantastic way to target farm Tier 2 rarity uniques. They're not so rare that you will never see them drop, but they are rare enough that you may well get to level 95 without seeing it. And there's no divination cards that target March of the Legion specifically, and so as a result, there's no good way to get this in solo self-found. If you are an SSF, your best bet is probably running heists that have 2 types of rewards, unique item rewards and armor item rewards, and just simply open those chests and hope. That's probably the best source in the game of getting more unique items. The other one that's really good if you're watching this during the 3.16 expansion is simply to use Magic Find strategies and run the Scourge content. Scourge drops a lot of uniques once you start getting around 200, 220 stacks of the Krangleverse debuff, and as a result, you can then get yourself a lot of extra uniques that way. So that's your first option. Your second option is, of course, in a trade league to simply trade for it. Whilst the item can be very expensive with perfect Val implicit corruptions on it, it's generally pretty affordable in trade leagues so far. And that's, I think, is largely because a lot of players try it and then realize, oh, this playstyle isn't for me. I'm going to sell this item. I know it's powerful, but I don't like having to stop and start all the time to use it, or to use these auras. And as a result, I'm going to get rid of it. What aura should you put in it? I'm a great fan of Grace and Determination as they exist at the moment. You could also consider Haste. I think Haste is an extraordinarily good aura to use in conjunction with March of the Legion. And then you can just use whatever damage aura or auras are best for your build. I do think, though, that Grace and Determination together work really, really well with this item, especially if you also allocate the very powerful passive tree nodes, Iron Reflexes. Iron Reflexes is staggeringly powerful in conjunction with those two, so Iron Reflexes converts your evasion rating to armor and means that your dexterity provides no bonus to evasion rating. And given that you are already suffering that drawback of dex providing no bonus to evasion rating, You probably also want the mage, what's it called? There is a passive node around here, Magebane, which also has the same drawback. Dexterity provides no inherent bonus to evasion rating, but will give you a benefit for the dexterity you happen to get. It'll give you a lot of spell suppression. And that's exactly what I'm intending to do on this character over time. So that is March of the Legion. If you've got any comments or questions, definitely fire away below. Otherwise, may your Varlobs have interesting results, and I will see you around.